Let's type in this PSA submission really quick because I'm gonna make a lot of money. What? What? Boys, let me tell you, this couldn't have been worse news for me. Okay, alert. As of March 30th, 2021, PSA has temporarily suspended the acceptance of most submissions. We are currently not accepting value, economy, regular, or express orders. We will take a tiered approach to reintroduce these service levels. Our goal is to bring all suspended service levels back by July 1st, 2021. Okay, breaking news. Now, we know them boys down there in California are busy. You know, they're slinging cards back and forth left and right. So we know that they are very, very swamped. And honestly, this is the best move that PSA could have made. Stinks for me because I got about $115,000 worth of cards that I got to get to California. Like ASAP, like yesterday. But it looks like that's not going to happen until July. So, what are my thoughts on this? Overall, selfishly, I'm a little disappointed because I wanted to get my cards sent off. But overall, this is a great thing for the hobby. We need this. We really, really need this. I've got 7 orders outstanding right now. The oldest 2 orders I submitted off in November. 2 more in December, and then 2 more in February, along with a regular order. That regular order is about to finish up, but PSA is just swamped with orders. Right before the price increase in March, they were receiving the equivalent of 3 months worth of submissions per week leading up to the price increase, as people knew that the price increase was going to happen. So they're way, way, way behind. So that begs the question, what next, right? So great job for PSA, but what do we do now? PSA now out of the question, unless you have a Super Express card or higher. Still, if you're buying those cards that are $2,000, $3,000, for which I have 4 of them that I'm going to be sending off, which is great, I can still submit those. Keep submitting to PSA because they're open for business for those. But any of these other cards, we know exactly what's going to happen. SGC, CSG is going to be slammed with submissions. Beckett's already slammed with submissions, so they're probably going to get slammed even more. HGA is slammed with submissions, and they can't even fill their demand now. So we're definitely going to see this flood of cards just go to different grading companies, and we're probably going to see the exact same thing that we saw last year with SGC. Right now, SGC raised their prices, and they're turning around cards in a week. But it's very, very difficult to pay their fees for $25 a card for most of the cards that are getting submitted to PSA, just because resale value isn't there right now. Same thing with CSG. If CSG increases their prices, or if they're backlogged, there's really it's gonna be difficult to submit to CSG. I think right now the grading game is you gotta be submitting 4-figure cards. I mean, those are the ones that you have to submit. Otherwise, this is what happens. So yeah, quick and dirty. That's just kind of the gist of it. What are my thoughts on PSA being bought out and also the increases in prices? So this comes 30 days after the price increases. So PSA raised prices. So if we go to services, trading card grading, and we actually look at our prices, so across all tiers, all grading tiers, prices increased. And actually, they just modified this. So they had the value orders for old cards at $20 a card, and then they also had, it looks like they've added, economy temporarily suspended. So they had old modern that was $20 a card, ultra modern is $25 a card, economy is suspended. Regular $100 a card, express $150, super express $300. You get the idea. You all have seen this. This was fantastic. This is the first attempt to curtail volume. And clearly they wanted to have a 30-day strategy to see what that looked like. And clearly in 30 days, they're still getting flooded with cards. Because it still makes sense to submit cards, for $20 a card at the lowest level and have them be graded by PSA. Now, turnaround time, I think the people who are submitting those cards don't necessarily know that they're not going to see those cards back for a very, 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 very long time. And we're talking 12 months plus. Right now, you can see their CTD tracker, which I believe was on this page, or maybe it's on a different subpage. Shows that these orders are dating back to July of last year, but that's the order entered date, and it doesn't include 2 surges worth of orders. One surge that happened in November with bulk orders, whenever that price increase happened in November of last year, and then it doesn't include the massive surge of orders that just happened this past March, knowing that this massive increase in price was going to take place. So with that said, it still makes sense to submit, but these value orders are not going to come back for a while. And all that volume is going to get shifted over to CSG. It's going to get shifted over to SGC, etc. But again, this was their first attempt to curtail that volume, and it clearly it's a good attempt. It just didn't work. What are my thoughts on the new ownership and their new strategies for this? First, I think that Nat Turner and Company is doing exactly what needs to take place. They bought the company at the right time, and from a business perspective, if you think about this, and if anyone here knows anything about real estate or has at least researched it, they identified a company that was prime for doubling its valuation. What do I mean by that? If you buy a multifamily property that has 100 units, and then all of a sudden you increase everyone's rent from $1,000 a month to $2,000 a month, you literally just doubled the value of your property. What PSA did is they saw that this company was valued at whatever the price was that it sold for, and it sold for $760 million. And perhaps they took into consideration the volume of that. But in terms of profitability of PSA for Collectors Universe, they literally just doubled the prices on everything, and business has not stopped. So what they just did is they made this company twice as valuable. So from an investment perspective, they literally said, we're going to double our prices. Our volume is not going to decrease. In fact, it's probably going to keep increasing, or it's going to match whatever our output capacity is, and we're still going to be able to double our revenue. Brilliant, brilliant strategy from an investing perspective for those who bought the company. From a collector's perspective, I don't see this as them taking advantage of a collector. I see this as a mechanism, one, for them to make money on their own, but also to try and curtail some of this volume that we've seen. And clearly that didn't work. And clearly they don't care about money in excess, because they're swamped with submissions, and they're literally saying we are going to stop submitting or stop taking in submissions for April, May, June, all the way to July 1st. And that's just this is fluid. This is not set in stone. They could potentially push this out even further, which really puts the grading game in question. I think that we have finally hit the point where we're at a crux, where if you're really wanting to spend a lot of money on cards and get them back and reap the rewards of grading, we may be at a point now where in order for that to happen, you're going to have to be dealing in cards that are 4 and 5 figures. And that's the strategy that I've shifted to. I try to shift to the regular orders instead of having low $50, $100, $200 cards, doing more $300, $400, $500 cards. I wasn't shifting fast enough, apparently, because regular is now suspended now. You're now going to need to be submitting cards that are in this ballpark. $2,500 to $5,000, if not higher. That's what we are going to have to play with now, which is fine. It totally takes a lot of people out of the game. So I guess that's something that everybody really has to take a look at, outside of just going potentially to a different grading company during this period where PSA is temporarily unavailable. But those are my thoughts, just kind of off the cuff. and hopefully this doesn't affect as many people as badly as it does me, because literally flew home this past weekend, went to a card show. Card show video is going to be coming out very soon. Did some videos on the financial analysis of the cards I bought at the show, but also got 850 cards, the biggest mail day that I've ever gotten. All those orders were going to be split up between Super Express, regular, ultra modern bulk, and old bulk. So 4 orders were going to be going out. I can currently only send out my Super Express order. So a little bit bummed, because cost of goods sold for that order is about $116,000. I was expecting that ROI, or at least the resale value, to be closer to about 200. And most of that was going to be regular. All that was going to be regular for the most part, at least the majority of it was going to be submitted at this service level. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to send out my Super Express order for sure. Going to get that out because I need to get rid of some of this. And luckily, those 4 cards, is between 15 and 20,000 of that 116. So, it's a pretty good dent. It's about 16-17% of everything that I grabbed. So hopefully I can get that back. Hopefully do pretty well on them, assuming they grade well, which I think that at least 3 of them will. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But those are my thoughts. Breaking news. Very, 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 very not exciting, but needed for the hobby. I will say that. Kudos to Nat Turner and gang at PSA for doing what is necessary to really address the turnaround time issues. And it's not their fault. They've been hiring staff. If you looked at their LinkedIn profiles, LinkedIn for PSA, or Collectors Universe, they've expanded their number of employees over the past 6 months by 15%. If you're a LinkedIn member, premium member, you can actually see that. If you look at some of the other grading companies that qualify, nowhere near as close. So they're doing everything they can to hire people in the middle of a pandemic where the government is giving people free money to sit on the couch. Not saying anything good or bad about that. I'm just saying it's very difficult to attract that type of employee for those positions for whenever they could literally just get paid to not go to work. So it is what it is, and they're doing everything they can. So kudos to them for actually trying and being transparent. So those are my thoughts. All right, guys, I'm gonna go figure out what to do with all my cards.